Greetings and welcome to another video. As usual guys, if you do enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot. So today I wanted to show you guys a game I played in Foot Champions, and as you can see from the title, use it to discuss an aspect of the so-called skill gap in FIFA 20. Now in relation to gaming, I did search for an official definition just for the video of what a skill gap actually is. But again, in terms of skill gap, there isn't one single answer. The general idea though is that it's safe to say that a game with a large skill gap will show a massive difference between the elite player base and the not so elite player base. I also think it's worth mentioning that there are those in the FIFA community that believe focusing on a skill gap and competitive ruin FIFA. I understand that view, but my 2 cents on the matter is that it's just not a full, accurate statement that depicts the entire story. Again, I get what you're saying, but you need to separate skill gap and competitive. A game with a large skill gap, in my opinion, doesn't have to be as triggering as FIFA 20 is. And FIFA 20 is exactly the perfect example. The problem is, there's so much focus on competitive, but even then, that wouldn't be an issue if the game had also a large, but also good skill gap. I say good on top of large because a football game can have a very large skill gap by adding El Tornadoes or spaceships or this or that, but is that really a good skill gap? And look, I'm not saying FIFA 20 does not have a skill gap. It obviously does. If it didn't, people wouldn't be hitting 30-0. You often hear that. But I'm not gonna bow down to a 30-0 just because it's a 30-0. I like to focus on the how. I'm a very analytical person, so I want to know how are those results achieved? Can I learn something from that? In my experience, for the most part, once you reach a certain level in FIFA 20, it really comes down to very boring gameplay that sucks the life out of your opponent. No offense to those that play this way, they didn't make the game after all, but what I'm getting at is that I don't think FIFA was ruined by focusing on a big skill gap. I think FIFA is awful partly because the skill gap just isn't great. It isn't large either, and a competitive football simulator just can't survive that way. For me, FIFA was quote-unquote ruined by the gameplay not being good, fun, and enjoyable. We definitely need more casual, fun modes, but at the end of the day, the gameplay is the gameplay. It is what it is. That being said, let's take a look at this game. Now in this moment, I was just finishing up my games, my buddy Persian is in the share play just hanging out, and I matched this team. We're both looking at it like, alright, I'm about to play some sort of pro/competitive player, or hopefully someone who's just a phenomenal trader. To answer that doubt, I definitely could have searched his PSN beforehand to get an idea, but for me, the best way to feel a player out is to have as little knowledge other than his team as possible to cloud my judgment of him as a player before the game. Spoiler alert for you guys, the dude turned out to be an insanely consistent top 100 player for FIFA 20 and even qualified for some events. Now it might come to a surprise to some of you guys, or not maybe, I don't know, but I kid you not. Not only because we were already creating spaces from the get-go almost too easily, and not only because we were lucky enough to grab the first goal of the game relatively, again, easily, and a second one early on after he fouled us in the box, but just in general, both Persian and myself sat there thinking, there's nothing to worry about here. This guy can't be a professional, so he's just got a really good team. Now before you go on thinking that's so harsh, I get you, I get what you're saying, but it's actually not an insult or a dig at him. I'm sure him and many others would be able to showcase their talent a lot more in a game that allowed them to do so. I often feel the same way. I've gotten plenty of Elite 1 finishes this year, but all in all, it's not like I was that proud of how I played so many of the times. I felt like I had shackles on the whole time because this game doesn't allow you to be creative the way that I like myself and maybe others do so as well. But back to this match, the entire game, he had one game plan. You can take a guess from the post-game stats what that game plan was. And if you need me to spell it out, it was to hoard the ball to a whole new level, a whole new dimension, and look for the infamous ISO play in a central area to rig his way through and cheese me, not necessarily by outplaying me, but by boring me to death and finding inconsistency in the AI. Eventually, he did get one back off the kickoff, but the entire time he played like this, and I sat there thinking, all I need to do now is not get drowsy from him boring me. But how is that even possible? How is that even a thought? How is it even a thing that so many players have only one style in their locker because they are limited to that one style? and it relies on boring your opponent so badly that he literally gives up. And even when your opponent who plays like this makes the wrong play, the ball can still go through. Hence why I often say rigging your way through the middle. And so these are the types of games that really make me think, how are people even idolizing top players and 30-0s without noticing the way these results are achieved, and how it's 95% based on being so patient that it's actually terrifying and worrying. Because I'm serious, I'm terrified of people who can get this level of patience. So for me, when people say competitive ruin FIFA, or the search for a skill gap ruin FIFA, it's really not the whole story. For me, the truth is that a bad game ruined FIFA. The inability to create the right skill gap ruined FIFA. The fact that we only have sweaty modes also contributes, but the main focus is and always will be gameplay. Because regardless of your level and who you're playing, you're gonna feel hard done by with the current state of the game. Rather than trying to make something that is subpar look professional and worrying about prize pools, maybe there should be more of a focus on a game that's actually good, rewarding, and fun, and competitive in the right ways. Or we can just keep going down this route and idolizing players who make an esport career out of boring their opponents to death. One way or another, we ended up winning this encounter. Honestly, guys, at what price? So much life energy, months and months off my life were taken off to secure this victory in the last seconds. I was just thinking, I don't even care about the win. I just need this game to end so we can all leave. Like, I would have rather lost 3-2 in the 90th than go to the extra time with a chance for winning. I just needed it to be over, because to be in this guy's lobby for another 15 in-game minutes, 30 in-game minutes, it was too much. So I'm just glad we ended up ending the game, the 90th game, regardless of winning or losing. It goes beyond that. It's sad to say, but it's the truth. Anyways, that's gonna be it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.